What is going on, everybody? We are back. Wrestling Republic's off the air immediately following NXT. Stoked to be back. We've got a lot of good stuff to talk about, a lot of good stuff going on. I've got the usual crew reunited once again. First and foremost, I'm going to send this one out to Louisville, Kentucky, to Dryzzy, who's been riding with me all Mania week this whole time.
Good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's the guy you should believe in. Drizzy is back. It's Tuesday. We holding them twos, and we're reunited, and it feels so good.
Yes, sir. We are reunited. And with that, it brings us to the big return. Standing at 6 foot, 6.5 inches tall from the DMV, the Tuesday Night Delight himself is back. Shoddy, what's good?
Finally, the Ark has come back to Tuesday night. My good brothers, I am here. Loyal fans, I am here. The Tatum Paxley Truther, the Tiffany Stratton #1 fan club chairman, your boy Shad. Let's get it.
Oh, dude, we are so back. Happy honeymoon. We are so back. Two's up.
There's three of us again.
We're so three's up this time.
We're the three best friends that anyone could ever have.
Yes, we're the three best friends that anyone can have. We did it. Guys, we're back. We're so back. Speaking of being back in the winner's circle once again. Shock victory in some circles. Trick Williams, not one, 2 wins. 2 wins over Carmelo Hayes, including one tonight inside of a steel cage. Absolutely wild. Not exactly the result I saw coming. I was expecting potential shenanigans. I was expecting we saw some shenanigans. We saw maybe a kendo stick, maybe a nightstick, who knows, spot, but not quite the amount of shenanigans. Not a bad match all around. But dude, I did not expect Trick to go over 1, 2, 3 right in the middle of the cage clean. Mm-hmm. I thought the reason you put the steel around it was for shenanigans, especially since you didn't roof it.
Right.
And that's where I have no complaint.
And they assembled it 5 minutes before the match started.
They did. We were watching them do it.
Yeah, and I saw them stretch. So that one portion of it was a little wobbly.
A lot of it was a little wobbly. I feel like I could walk up and stick half my body through those little sides.
Yeah, I feel like they were playing on a Jenga cage.
I was like, wait a minute, where is the plexiglass from the pandemic era in the performance center to save the fans from when the cage tips over? No, I mean cool match for a cage match and 2 absolute studs. Weird timing to me. Spring break-in, I'm like, to main event a Mania card, come back a few weeks later on a Tuesday, which is borderline a go-home show.
Right.
And you have limited time in a steel cage to put on a true clinic. I had no real issue with the execution of the match itself, especially the timing. Like, they only had so much time left. We were all looking at it like, Shad, you were even like, wait, do they only have 8 minutes left? And we're like, no, remember, it goes over. Like, it was, but it was like, wait a minute.
I honestly forgot the match was happening because it was 10:40 or 10:35, 38 by the time Ivar and Josh Briggs were wrestling, and I was like, oh yeah, we have a cage match tonight. I know these guys aren't gonna be like a squash match; they're gonna get a little bit of a time, but yeah, I don't know. The booking decision of it definitely doesn't make a lot of sense, especially if it's just gonna be the same outcome as it was at Stand and Deliver. I would have rather it been shenanigans because I'll be honest with you, as amazing Trick and Dragunov was this earlier this year when they had a match, I felt like a triple threat match would have been like a lot of fun
Yeah.
for a spring breaking card, especially, presumably if you do let Trick Williams get the title, like that's a good opportunity to get the title off of Dragunov by pinning Mello. That's like the ultimate cherry on top in a way where it can kind of be, a trio of matches between those two. But now we're ending it off like this.
Well, and that's to your point. It's there's so much else at play. We have the real white over here in the comments. Monster shout out with whoop that trick. Y'all are awesome. Thank you. You're awesome too. Thank you so much for commenting always. But that's the weirdest part to me is it, Trick Williams obviously has a title opportunity here.
Yep.
Seems like Dragunov is a logical call up,
Mhm.
as is Mello. We have this
Mhm.
draft coming up.
Hmm.
What I don't like about this, and I hate to complain about a Trick Mello cage match on a random Tuesday night, because who am I to do that? But we're here, and I'm already halfway there, so I might as well finish the story. Now
We're
that we're
finishing
here,
we're finishing
You
every
gotta
story
finish your
right here now.
I'm
story.
just
You
saying.
gotta finish your story.
I'm just saying. I'm gonna finish my story here.
Clark crybabies, man.
Stop it! Stop. I think I don't want it to telegraph Trick winning the NXT World Championship. That's what I'm afraid of. And Drizzy, I'm wondering, do you have any fear of that as well when it comes to this? So Trick Williams goes over Mello. This just means Mello is going to SmackDown full time. Then potentially goes over Dragunov. Dragunov going to SmackDown as well. And it just happens in succession. We could see it from a mile away.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought it was. And even with the cage match, we were playing around with just scenarios then of just what we think might happen, and we were trying to think of some type of way that Melo's going to get in that title match. That way, we could justify them taking the belt off of Ilya and sending Melo out at the exact same time, and both of them sending Trick into NXT's future main event scene with the NXT title, and you can see it a mile away. We've seen it when he beat Melo at Stand and Deliver. Like we've been on the road, we see the big signs. Trick is NXT from there, leaving Ilya and Melo. The writing's on the walls. This really did feel like it telegraphed it. The match was not bad. Let's
Yeah.
just stop this right there. The match is not bad. Two world class athletes put on a great match, a great show. It felt like a house show match almost. Like if we were some at a show not televised, this is the match you'd probably get. And I don't hate it. It wasn't bad. The issue is after we had the match is stand and deliver. This match didn't. I feel like it didn't do anything to elevate this feud. It didn't do anything to hurt it, but it didn't do anything to help it. Like I feel like it still has the same amount of heat it did when we left off at stand and deliver. So at this point, I really didn't see the point of doing this cage match here. Maybe if they would have saved it for spring break in, maybe, but there was really no reason to do this match. I'll take it though.
Totally. Always. Oh, we got the run in of the night. Most adorable run in of the night. No
Just
Oh
had,
question
man,
about it.
just had a run out of nowhere.
I hate to ruin such amazing moment there and a lot of the positivity. I think it did take a little bit away from the feud, to be honest with you, because I feel that Stand and Deliver was a swan song, right? That's the cherry on top ending. That's the story being finished with Trick Williams. He got the victory over someone who he looked to as a brother. They had a very like personal, physical feud, and that's kind of it. Like that's a good way to top it off. Just adding this doesn't do anything for Trick Williams. Trick Williams still looks like $1 million going into spring breaking and having his title match. But does it like take some away from Carmelo Hayes if he does get called up? Like I don't know. I think Carmelo Hayes will be good on the main roster. I don't doubt that he has potential, but it's a weird way to kind of just knock him down a peg more. Like I feel like if this was gonna be the ending of Carmelo Hayes and him, which it might not be, we don't know. There could have been a better way to end it.
I totally agree. Although I just had one of those light bulb moments, and I was like, "Wait a minute, what if we're doing this show in 3 or 4 years after night 2 of WrestleMania, and babyface Carmelo Hayes overcomes the mountain that is Trick Williams, who has 2 on him from NXT in the main event for the World Championship."
That'd be amazing.
Guy gets the monkey off his back in
It's
Mania.
long-term storytelling, but fighting from underneath wise, something we could get to. Carmelo Hayes is the smaller man. Right this minute, it's Trick Williams overcoming Mello. But in 4 years, in 3 years, when we're in that spot where both should be in that main event picture on the main roster, might be flipped. And I might be eating crow as far as any criticism I've had of this cage match result, despite the fact that I agree with everything that the three of us have said, and that it is telegraphing the result of the match in spring break and all of that. Just my wheels got spinning there for a second. And I'm like, well, wait. Down the road isn't Mello the likely baby face.
As y'all can see, Clark is a reader. He definitely has a novel written for this storyline for the next 20 years for these two young gentlemen.
I think way too much. Overthinker, probably. Reader is a compliment, and I do appreciate that.
Yeah, we can't wait for the Trick Williams retirement match like Sting. Where
yeah, wait. You just wait till that book comes out. It's going to be excellent. Been working on it for years. No, but speaking of things that have been worked on for years, let's talk about Donovan Dijakovic, Dijak the man against Noam Dar.
No, head that in here. This is, feast your eyes.
Feast your eyes.
I went Lyra on that. Like, no, that's Lyra. No, that's Titus. This is Lyra.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Lyra got the little like.
No, Titus is this. Chase you is this. Lyra is this. Dijak is this.
Yeah, there it is. I like it. Well, our eyes were feasted, but speaking of feasts, Noam Dar ate tonight. Got the win. Metaphor.
So Dijak is basically a window shopper.
He's a window shopper.
My bad. Continue.
No, I mean honestly, you got to take over
window shopper.
Take it down. Noam Dar. Honestly, since he's lost the Heritage Cup, is it just me or is Noam Dar even more charismatic than he was before?
Not only
ever since last week, really, like I feel like we're finally kind of allowing him to be the character that he is more on a main stage of everything. I mean, Metaphor just works, man. They're just a fun group to have on NXT. Like they have a good volume of doing a lot of stuff. Their comedic timing is great. They look really like cool. They all dress very well. It works very well. I think all the chemistry is really good amongst those four superstars. And yeah, man, this was a really good match. A good way to start the show off. With Noam Dar being the character that he is, sensational in-ring wrestler. I mean, this is why he was the Heritage Cup champ for a while. Like the guy is really good bell for bell, and him and Dijak had a phenomenal match. And I mean, it's the numbers games, man. 4 is a larger number than 1, Mr. Dijak. You might need to want to get you some friends, but it's confusing because I don't really know what the direction is for Dijak overall. Because I was going into it like maybe he'll get his win tonight, and this is a trajectory for him being a viable like threat to be maybe the next NXT champ or compete for whoever gets the NXT title. But he's got like the most like stop and go win. Like he like will win a match and then he'll lose a match and then he'll win a match and then he'll lose a match and then he'll win 2 and then he loses 2. Like he's like the most 500 wrestler out there. Like he's a perfect like 8-8 like seasoned wrestler.
I don't get it either, and
he's that team in the playoffs.
Yeah,
that he needs a couple of wins to get into the playoffs, and he always gets in at the last minute because he puts on great work.
The
Like
best.
that's the one thing I think he's had what two in the last 12 months. We have had maybe three of his matches be contender for matches of the year. He does great work. He puts on great shows. This match was nothing short of phenomenal. It stole the it blew everybody else out of the water. There's probably nothing else. They had to put a cage match at the end because of how good that Dijak and Noam Dar was. And I've been saying for months now that Noam Dar needs to be in the main event scene.
Yes.
Tell me this wouldn't be a title match a few months from now. Noam Dar and Dijak because they have such a great chemistry. Their styles match. Noam Dar to be such a smaller person has such a fluid style that Dijak just seemed to gel with so well that it just looked amazing. It looked believable. It wasn't there weren't any, and I can't even say the shenanigans were absolutely off the wall because there
Right.
was nobody grabbing a hold of anybody. The most that happened was Mensa jumped up on the ropes. That's it. For the most part, this was a clean match by the two. We need more Noam Dar and more. I would absolutely love to see them do this at a show at a PLE.
Dude, I am so with you. And that was it. Remind me, it was you and I, Driz, that were talking about part of like Dijak. You watch him in the ring and his size, you forget how exactly
Yes.
big he is because of part of that is his rivalry with Keith Lee. Because
Yes.
you've had to see him stand next to Keith Lee for so long
Let's put it here.
and so many times, right? And then now you start to realize he's 6'7" and all of 6'7"
He
and
is
that athletic.
Dijak is the Ant-Man of NXT. Because this is the first match that I really looked at him like, wow, he really is 7 foot. His size, his size. It's almost like he can wrestle with the smaller guys and make it look great. He can wrestle with the bigger guys and make it look great. We need to give Dijak his flowers.
100%. It was
without a
like
doubt.
when I see him standing next to certain wrestlers, I'm like, oh no, he plays the 4, not the 3.
Mm.
Like he plays power
Yeah.
forward.
Like realistically, he's a point forward. If we're calling it
Yes.
he's a point forward.
He is
He's
because
like
of the
he's like the
athleticism.
Lamar Odom of this, man. Like he can do
100%.
everything really well, before the
Yep.
drugs, but it's all good.
We
the
got Michaela
Kardashians.
Bell
I'm
in the
sorry.
comments with all love, all hearts back.
Salute, salute.
Absolutely. I mean, I was gonna make a joke about like maybe he should start Simile, but like that's neither here nor there. I'm sorry, we're making grammar jokes. That's
Yeah.
from earlier. That was for me mostly, not even that's I'm sorry. That it doesn't get much cornier than that, and everyone can blame me for that one.
On that note, next topic.
On that note, we will move along to things that were not corny. Let's talk about Lola Vice and Sol Roca. This was a sweet match. I thought for what it was, Lola gets the win via basically knockout with that roundhouse kick. No joke. That was ice cold. The rest of the match, Sol Roca performing in a knee brace. She can go. And we haven't taken a ton. We highlight the women's division all the time, not taking a ton to necessarily highlight Sol specifically. She looked really, really, really good bell to bell in this match. Really smooth, like the whole match with Lola Vice. Now that leads us to the next part of it. Natty Neidhart, Lola Vice, next week.
In
Basically Bloodsport. Sorry,
Josh
I had
Barnett
to say it.
Bloodsport.
Couldn't help myself. Basically Bloodsport. Could not help myself.
Sorry, Shane McMahon Raw Underground. I mean NXT Underground.
They're doing it without the ropes. That's the point, right? No ropes. They took the ropes and they took them away. No ropes. That's how they're going to do it. I'm excited about that. I love that. I'm a big MMA fan, so I'm totally jacked about that. And then we've also got Sol versus Blair Davenport.
Yes.
No DQ. We obviously can't break all of this down at once, but let's start with the Lola Vice Sol Ruca match, which eventually led to the underground match. Shad, I'm gonna start with you, dude. Underground's back, and for the first time, it doesn't feel corny. It doesn't.
Yeah, so I like how they're setting this underground matchup because Natalia does a good job of kind of, you know, inviting us to who Valerie Loretta is, Lola Vice is as a combat fighter prior to coming to NXT. So it's gonna be interesting. This is something that she's very good at. I mean, like really, really good at, and it's something that's gonna be interesting with working with a veteran like Natty, who is more of the traditional pros wrestler. So I'm excited to see it. I think that it's one of those cases where I didn't mind Raw Underground. I thought some of it was cool, some of it was kind of whatever. So I'm hoping it delivers this time around. And this is a pivotal match for Lola. I mean, Lola's getting an opportunity to go against, the boat is self-proclaimed one of the a Hall of Famer, a future Hall of Famer in Italia. So I'm excited to see how she does. She says that she is going to have a person on her side because Carmen Petrovic will be next to Natalia. So you and I talked about it. We think it's going to be possibly Shayna Baszler, right?
Yup.
You think it's going to be Jorge Masvidal. My bad. That's what Clark was
What?
saying.
Don't
Hey,
spoil the
dog.
lead. Don't bury the lead. I think
Street
it's
G-
gonna be Georgie.
Street Jesus is going to be there, man.
I think he's gonna be in the corner. I
Let's
do
go ahead.
think so.
Let's go ahead and bring Andre Arlovsky at it. Why don't we? And Randy Couture, since they're
Either
not doing
way,
anything right
I'll
now.
tell you what. Lola Vice is getting nautical next week against the boat. She's gonna
Yeah.
knock her
Oh,
off the stern,
and one last thing.
starboard side.
One last thing. I am definitely excited for Sol Ruka and Blair Davenport because I think the feud has been, set up pretty well. And yeah, man, Sol Ruka is super fluid. Like her athleticism is off the charts, and like the way she just goes and transitions into like moves and how she like just kind of like just her strides and everything in the ring. It's like so like smooth. So I think she's got like an immense amount of potential. I think it was like that prior to the injury, and she's getting back in a rhythm. And yeah, she's gonna be one of these women's that's gonna get to flourish once they call up a bunch of people. Like she's gonna kind
Yeah.
of make the women's division one of these focal people up there.
Soroka really impressed me tonight. Not just in the match, but in the promo as well. And that
Mhm.
I think is a big part of it. So like, Natty and Lola is gonna be awesome. The special guest in Lola's corner is gonna be really cool. I think it's a little predictable if it's Baszler. It could be. Masvidal might be too wild of a suggestion. Some sort of a happy medium would be good. Somewhere between the two.
Nah, forget it. Let's go get Vandalay Silva.
Yeah, let's go get Vanderlei. Somebody crazy. Maybe Chael Sonnen. Who knows?
Yes, see.
Chael Sonnen would be wild.
What if it's
Um,
Nunes?
What if it's Amanda? Oh, the
Holly-
Lioness
Holly
lives in
Holm.
Florida.
How
Holly
mad
Holm.
you think Rondo? How mad you think Rondo would be? Or it was
Holly
Holly
Holm.
Holm?
Holly
Oh,
would be hilarious.
Yo, okay, now I kind of want it to be one of them
No,
now.
Holly got pretty punked out, unfortunately, by Kayla Harrison this weekend. I think she's still licking some wounds. I don't know about availability on this short of notice.
Oh my god, I want it to be
there's
Amanda. I
a
want it to be
there,
Amanda Nunes so bad now.
there's currently a
Nunes
handful
would be
of
wild.
UFC women fighters that TKO is like, hey, we need y'all to go to NXT for a little bit. Just
Okay, wait.
yeah.
Here's another one. What about Cyborg? Cyborg would be just as nuts.
That'd be crazy.
Cyborg would be wild. Cyborg's a possibility too. Lives in Florida, trains in Florida, available. I'm just thinking my MMA brain's spinning like crazy, like on who it could be. I'm as
Yeah.
excited as anyone. I would die if it was Dan Lambert. If it was Dan Lambert, now we're like the whole world explodes.
If that's,
TK gonna be punching the air.
TK literally.
no, I know who it is.
Who is it? Dana White?
Paige Vincent.
Oh gosh.
PVZ.
Paige Vincent.
PVZ.
The forbidden door is officially open.
Oh, PVZ would be exclamation point plus sign. like we win.
Like
That would literally. Oh, PVZ would be wild. There's so many options. If it's Masvidal, though, you heard it here first.
Hey man, he was on AEW, so nothing is
It's possible. It's
short
possible.
of it.
It's
As long as
promoting that
it's
fight.
long as it's not Kobe Covington.
What if
we're
it's
good.
Nate Diaz? I'm sorry. I'm done with predictions.
Yeah, we're done there. All right, let's shut that down. Shut it down.
Okay. Okay. No, but I do have a further question for you, Driz, on this. Sol Ruka, Blair Davenport, I actually think might steal the show pending the appearance, whoever the special guest is on the Natty and Lola match. But I actually think Sol and Blair, no DQ, may very well steal this show. It's been well built. Your thoughts on that?
It's very well built. It is very. It's gonna be underachieving. It's not gonna be an underachieving match, but nobody. It's gonna be very underrated because of all the other high profile things going on. And I feel like just that Blair Davenport has been in a bad spot because it's like every time she gets in a feud with somebody, they get hurt legit. So Ruka, then Nikita, and now we're back to we're at the point where now we can take those real life things and make something chewy to something you could chew on now. I'm hoping that they actually give them the time to let them run wild because this is part of your main event scene that's going to be coming. Your women need those experienced players, and Blair Davenport is your experienced player. They definitely have to give them some time to actually cook. I definitely believe they will because as good as Blair Davenport is, she's going to make Sol Ruka look 10 times better. Sol Ruka's athleticism alone makes her must see, but giving her something good to go off of makes it even better. This has sleeper alert on it. Don't sleep on it. Don't get your pillows out. But this is a sleeper alert match. So be ready.
I totally agree. I think this is an absolute potential show stealer in every way. It's sleeper alert, like no question. Keep your eye out because I think that's going to be a good one. There's a reason they put a stipulation on it. And we're going to see some, like you said, you have veteran, you have Sol Ruka, Roka, I'm sorry, unbelievably talented. Absolutely, absolutely. This is a potential show stealer. Could be one of those where you're like, ooh, that's the moment, the breakout moment. And that's kind of what NXT is all about in a lot of ways. Speaking of breakouts, Shad, our next segment's going to get you really excited.
Tuesday.
I'll let you take this away.
Just another Tatum Tuesday. Oh my goodness. My oh my oh my. Did I do a bunch of victory laps on the cruise ship? You guys are finally witnessing a star in the making. What was one of the best promo package videos I done seen in WWE production this entire year. We got the story of the most justified professional wrestler on the NXT roster. That is a Miss Tatum Paxley. Now you guys were thinking, oh, she's crazy, she's a psycho, she's obsessed with Lyra. No, she's obsessed of gold, like all of us. She wants to be where the gold is. And not only was she betrayed by the fans who are discrediting her logic, she was, not treated fair by a loser in Lyra Valkyria. So
No.
tonight, we say goodbye to Miss Lyra. We cut these feathers up.
He's done it.
Because next week,
oh, dude, you can't mute yourself during theatrics.
He muted himself.
because next week, my bad, in a triple threat match, Tatum Paxley will be the NXT Women's Champion. She's going to knock off that bird brain Lyra, and she's going to knock off a very talented wrestler named Roxanne Perez, who I will not disrespect because she could probably beat me up at this current moment in time. But this is her era. We saw it tonight. She got to win. Oh, sure there was cheating involved. Whatnot. Ooh, come on, man. This is pro wrestling. A win is a win. And Lyra, don't think stuff is sweet. This is on you. This is your fault. Only blame yourself for being a big old loser.
I'm gonna have to admit this live on air for the first time. I'm the aviary community, birds, is basically my only fear in life. I was attacked by a goose in my youth. Pretty much every nightmare I've ever had has been about birds. So I can't stand them. So to see you cut those feathers up, muted in the middle or not, was a moment. Yes. Yeah. For the bird haters out there. Rats with wings. That's what I call them. That's all
Rats
I'm
with
saying.
wings.
I'm yeah.
They're drone. They're not. Have
The
you?
worst.
Birds don't really exist. I'm just joking. I'm
I'm
not a
just saying,
conspiracy
birds
theorist.
don't exist. No, seriously, guys, write that down. Birds don't exist. I agree with Chad. I don't believe in them either.
Well, I'm gonna need somebody. What's out here making a nest on my air conditioner right now?
I was about to say, speaking of things I do believe in, Drizzy, I have to ask you about
Joe Hendry.
about this whole thing on not about Joe Hendry.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
Well played. Well played.
My bad. This isn't a
Well
TNA
played.
show. I swear.
Okay, so, I'm sorry. Okay, I got this, guys. So Thea Hale and Tatum Baxley did actually have a match after the promo and everything, and now we've got this triple threat match too out of it and everything. The whole nine. Paxley could become champion next week. Shad
Will become champion next
is
week.
clearly ready for it. Drizzy, are you ready for it? Or are you seeing a different result?
Most of the time when we do these Tatum Tuesdays, I tell y'all that it's all a load of crock. I can't say what I want to say because Ben will get me. But this week I'm on the train. I am on the Tatum Tuesday train. The promo was absolutely perfect. I absolutely love that style of promo. I'm one of those weird guys, the theater kids that love the dark characters, the crazy characters, the guys who are saying, are the guys and girls who are saying a whole bunch of nothing and talking in circles, but they say everything at the exact same time. The Bray Wyatts, the Undertakers, the Ravens, and I will add Tatum Paxley to that. Now, granted, hers was so the motivation is pure. I love that belt. The belt means the world to me. I'm obsessed with it. And because you had the belt, I was obsessed with you. But you don't have my belt anymore. Somebody else has it that I need to not have it, that doesn't deserve it. And the only one who really deserves, who can really treat that belt right, is myself. And that's where Tatum came from with that. And I love that motivation. It's so refreshing in a character. It's it's not I need to be champion. It's just you're not treating this belt the way it should be. I don't need the belt. The belt needs me. That style of promo, that motivation is going to drive her up the mountain so fast. We've been saying it for months that she's a future champion, and it very well may happen at Spring Breakout.
Yeah, it's speaking of matches that could steal the spring break card.
That will.
That triple
So
threat easily could.
I,
Easily could.
I think it is. Like, all biasness is not going aside because she is gonna win the title. But in if I'm being real with you for a moment, I do think that is gonna be potential show stealer because like all three women are incredible professional wrestlers as well at the end of the day. And their storytelling is gonna be there. Like there's a lot of layers to this match and it's gonna be one for the books, I think, man. And we praise a Tony Storm a lot for what she does in her character work. We praise a lot of like women's wrestlers, but like I really think Tatum Paxley is one of the best characters in professional wrestling at the moment, and I think she deserve her flowers because we got rid of the feathers.
I do too, 100%. Okay, this is a topic that's not actually on the docket for today,
Okay.
but I have to ask:
Mhm.
we've been talking about spring break and coming up here and everything. And is it just me, or did they build this whole thing around potentially Braun Breaker, spring breaking,
No,
and
that's just it,
then
man.
decide early that Braun Breaker is going up? Or is that just something that I noticed? I'm not trying to knock anybody that's in charge, but I'm just saying spring break was last week for most of the people that I know that have children. And it's April. This is a little late in spring for spring break. We're getting towards the end of the school year, end of
Yeah.
the
It's a
semester.
bad over. It's a bad over.
I'm thinking spring breaking meant to be about Breaker. Maybe just me, maybe not.
I think it's also where Mania kind of fell through in the beginning, first week of. I mean, Mania kind of happened during spring break, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Literally, I
Yep.
think.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yep.
yep. Driz can confirm.
Oh my God! Do you see the star power we have in the comments?
No way. Is that the real Ryback?
I don't think it is, man.
Next week, I'm going back to WWE to beat up Cody Rhodes. I will finish my story. Honestly, if that's you, Ryback,
You don't go here.
feed me more, man.
This is
Respect.
NXT. This is NXT, sir.
Nah, get him, man. If he's watching the show, stay tuned.
No,
We
come
ready-
back in the daytime when we
Come-
talking Raw and
come
SmackDown.
talk with us.
Nah,
Reach
that's
out.
not him. The real Ryback is Ryback TV.
Yeah,
That's just
it's another Ryback. Hey, if you're a better Ryback,
You're a better Ryback.
give it a shot. Now
Yeah.
that we know,
We gotta call him like Daniel Bryan, the Ryback.
better Ryback.
Ryback.
We got Ryback and better Ryback. I think he sent us a. Is that a
Isn't that isn't that like the dude in Crash Bandicoot, like the little like
That's
mask mask that he
that's
wears?
that's the
It's-
angry. That's angry from inside out.
It's an emoji I don't recognize, and we already had an emoji debate today on the daily, as Shad knows.
not
we were there.
emojis. Not emojis.
No, yeah, like I was under the impression that the praying hands were obviously the praying hands, and then I
Oh
was
my
recently
God.
told that they were originally intended to be a high five, and now
Yes.
that I see it, I can't unsee it.
Yes, we have commandeered it and made it praying hands because we thought praying hands
Yeah.
was way more important than a high five.
Had no idea. Completely blew my mind. Ears off my head. The whole thing. That's why I'm wearing the headphones. Yeah,
You
no,
know-
it no idea. I had no clue. Felt totally out of the loop as soon as I was informed.
But you know what match deserves a high five?
Yeah.
Dragunov versus Javon Evans.
Okay, I was about to get into that because I'm so hyped on Javon Evans. Is this kid
Yo.
not next? Isn't
Jay
that what
Malachi.
NXT stands
Well,
for?
I really thought they was gonna
FKF.
give him that win tonight.
He had it, Drizzy. I'm going to you first, dude. Dude,
Yo,
how good is this kid?
This kid, I call him a kid, but this kid is next. When you think of the definition of NXT, you think of building stars. This guy is your next big star. He is going to be on all your posters. Think about you're going to see a poster for Money in the Bank and you're going to see him on a ladder. You think about the WrestleMania poster, you're going to see him flying over the top rope. When you think about SummerSlam, you're going to think about him jumping off of on somebody through a table. This is your future. They I want to call him by his indie name so bad, but Jay Malachi, it's this it was probably the best case scenario for him to go to NXT because now he has that springboard. He's more polished than a lot of the guys in there, but now he's just getting the extra little oomph. He is not gonna do not expect to see him spend a full year in NXT because he is entirely too good. He just took Dragunov to his limit in this match. If this was a open challenge title match, I would have put my money on him winning that belt because that's how good he was. He flew over the top rope. He had Ilya all discombobulated that he didn't know which way he was going for a little bit of it. Javon
Yup.
Evans has it. He has so much of it he couldn't get rid of it if he had to. If his life was on the line, he can't get rid of it.
He's got it
Be
in
ready.
spades, dude. I could not agree more. And not only that,
Young OG.
he sells like he's been in the game for 20 years, and the kid's been alive for what, 19? Like it's like it's unfathomable how talented he is. Shad and I, when we were watching this, though, we had a funny convo, and I got asked Shad about it too, because
What's up, man?
we both agreed on this. Compared to the Nick Wankster, Nick Wayne, no way. Javon Evans has him in his pocket all day long.
I'm buying Javon Evans stock over Nick Wayne. That's no shot. That's no shade to Nick Wayne. Look, man, this kid is someone that is very fascinating because you see him still in the light of a kid because of his frame, but he's not like a small guy. He's still relatively lanky, athletic. He's gonna only get bigger, stronger, faster. Like the potential in him is really, really fascinating because to Drizzy's point, at age 19, being in the independent circuit for a short period of time, coming and getting an NXT deal, presumably, you gotta be in the performance center for a little bit. They got him right on TV, and he's fits in like a glove. Like this kid has it factor, and I hate that term, the it factor, but like his in ring ability already has the crowd captivated out the gate, and he's a young prospect that I can see taking strides, and by the time he gets in his early 20s, can be a big factor on WWE television. And yeah, I would take him over Nick Wayne, man. That's no shade to Nick Wayne, like I said, but I don't know, man. Javon Evans is a little bit taller, right? A little bit faster, a little bit more athletic. I think he sells a little bit better too. I haven't he hasn't gotten an opportunity to show his character, but in due time, I'm gonna take the Javon Evans stock. I'm sorry, man.
Dude, I am so with you, and I was not trying to throw you under the bus on this because I wanted to get
No,
this
I
part
stand on
out.
business. I stand on business.
I'll take the brunt of this because isn't he like 4 inches taller too? He's more athletic, more charismatic, 4 inches taller. It's that was the joke I was making when we were watching. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's the
dude,
thing. Like, he has, like, he looks cool. Like, he look really cool. Like, he really do look like,
yes,
He
like,
has. The end of the day, it's it. He had. If you
yeah,
look at him,
yeah,
if
like,
you were to do, I know y'all know the story of the airport test. If you see him walking through an airport, I guarantee somebody's ask. A bunch of kids are asking for his autograph,
yeah.
and I
thousand
absolutely
percent.
mean that 100%. I know earlier last week he got some no name podcaster was sitting there getting on him because of his something he did in a promo, and I really believe that this match happened to shut that guy up because this is
Yep.
NXT. It
And he
is
can,
development.
yeah.
You can always work on something,
But he
and
can, talk though. Like, I didn't seen him
he
talk in
can.
the Indies
And
before.
and
Yeah,
and honestly, I watched it back. I saw nothing wrong with what he did. He just
yeah,
looked back like, "Oh, it's time for me to go." You have to acknowledge that there's somebody holding a camera right there, y'all.
yeah.
It's
That's
I
not
true.
just
mean,
floating there. You're talking to Kelly Kincaid, just staring and talking to nothing. Somebody's right there. Like, hey, we gotta go. Oh, my bad. And he took off. He's realistic, and the things that are going on in WWE right now revolve around realistic things. So to go off on him because he sat there and acknowledged it is is goofy. My bad.
you
Nah,
got it.
like, I love the
You got
compare.
Drizzy in the comments, by the way, from Melon Crab or
I
Melon
love the
Playground 1678.
I'm sorry. I love to
Go ahead.
compare
No, you
things
good.
to sports, but it's just like it's like you're seeing him in his rookie year. Like he is like he's like how like Wemby just dropping 40 in his rookie year. Like he's got that type of potential to get him to the next.
Shot.
Like
I was gonna go even wilder. I was about to be like, hey, not to be that guy, but like,
he,
if we're talking Nick Wayne and we're talking Javon Evans,
yeah, Nick Wayne is
it's
Chet.
Randy Moss and Wes Welker. And they're both functional wide receivers, but
Damn.
that's the difference. Man, we're looking
I
at
would.
Randy Moss
I was
and
gonna
Wes
give.
Welker.
I was gonna
Man,
give Nick Wayne Chet, and
nah,
to give Javon Evans Wemby.
you're gonna give him a little more height. I respect that.
Wes Welker, Randy Moss. That's a little. That's kind of wild. I ain't gonna
Both
say
100
that.
catch guys. Both 100 catch guys. Both very successful.
Mhm.
There's a different way that they did things and
Well, Nick.
operated
The thing
athletically.
is this though. Nick Wayne gets a bigger opportunity because he's AW doesn't have a like
The
developmental
developmental system.
brand, right? So he gets to be on TV. He gets to be in position with Christian Cage and all
No
that.
doubt.
And initially I was like, I see it. I think it's gonna be good, but it's fell flat with him.
Nick can go for sure. There's no
He
doubt
can
about that.
go, but they
To
not
not,
I, not say
to
fell
not,
flat, but it's stopped from what the potential was shown
Yeah.
and
beforehand.
I think it's, and I know we're getting AEW talk, but I don't think that Nick Wayne is flat, and it fell flat with him more so because of anything that he's doing. It's just because of him being involved in a story. You have to
Mhm.
sacrifice your wrestling to tell that story. We all know that Nick Wayne is more than capable in that ring, but when you're trying to tell a story like this, yeah, and again, like what Shad said, there's no developmental system, so you're learning on the fly on everything. And
Mhm.
he has great teachers because he's wrapped in. Honestly, he's probably in the best situation out of a lot of these guys because
Yeah.
he's getting mentored by two Hall of Famers. That's Christian and Edge. I'm say what you want. Yes, there's a few in a feud right now, but Edge is also mentoring that kid too.
Helping him out,
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's a
And he's
great
gonna be
point.
fine.
And
No, yeah,
along add that along with everything he's learning on the indies at the exact same time, he's good.
absolutely. Well, and not only that, lineage wise, Buddy Wayne, Hall of Fame lineage. Like Nick Wayne is a stud. This is no knock on Nick Wayne, but just by comparison, for this kid to be 19, I was blown out of the water. Right. And like I've seen him in indie performances, Javon Evans, right, as you know, Jay Malachi and everything. But like
Mhm.
this to do it on Tuesday night on USA was a different animal for me.
Mm.
Oh,
Right. Like
he had a great match with Reggie.
he did.
Yes,
He really did.
That's
yes.
no shade to Reggie, but
It
that's
isn't.
Reggie.
I
That's
said
Reggie.
that was a big thing we talked about last week. Like if that should have been a PLE match because
Hmm
Oh,
if you're gonna put
totally.
him in the ring with anybody, that should have happened at Stand and
Yeah.
Deliver. That should have been the Stand and Deliver match.
I'm
Reggie and Javon, I call him Reggie Scripps and Javon Evans
Javon
because
Evans.
that
Yeah,
match was really good.
but he's
Absolutely.
last thing before we go to the final
You're
topic,
good. Take
obviously.
your time.
He's also a very smart in-ring worker because he got his spots off tonight, but he also was getting to Dragunov's game with striking and trying to, get to the ground and stuff tonight too. Like the guy is a very like he's gonna learn so much being in the performance center, working with people. Like I just I'm banking off of the resources that he has tied to how good he is and the potential, yeah, it's gonna be something special with him. They got a NXT's got a young talent pool with him, Obafemi, a lot of these guys. In the
Oh,
next 10 years, like y'all gonna see a very, very like star-studded roster
both
that
sides too, men's and women's.
and women's more so than men's, to be honest
Right.
with you.
The men
And
are
it,
found. The men are starting to catch up now. Finally,
They're
like
catching up, but
the women have been there, but the men are
yeah,
finally on the road now.
it's crazy though, because we're gonna see these call ups right this next week, draft season and all of that. But in a weird way, I actually think it'll settle some dust and
hmm
even improve the product of NXT.
it's
And the more I've talked about this show tonight, the more I think about, right, we were a little critical of that main event, understandably so, in some ways for the timing and whatnot. It does
yeah,
make sense because of the time of season. And once that dust settles, this summer on NXT is going to be absolutely
yeah, man.
must watch stuff.
We losing Braun and Mello Dragonov, but we're getting Obafemi, we're getting, you know, Javon Evans, and there's probably some guys in the cut that we don't even know yet that are probably gonna
Yep.
pop off. So well, we'll just have to wait and see.
Like
It's
the
going to
guys
be,
in this next match. Ah,
yeah.
ah, ah.
Okay. Great tease, Driz. Dude, Ivar and Josh Briggs. And it's really funny because I had a conversation earlier today on the Daily about Ivar being on last night's Raw. Right.
Mhm.
And it bugged me. But it's Ivar and Briggs. It was so good.
I like that Briggs mentioned it too. He's like, I'm gonna beat you like Sheamus beat you last night.
Exactly. I thought it was a great point. Drizzy, I'm going to toss this one to you first. Dude, Ivar and Briggs, are they both still in that North American title picture? Or are we looking at world? Where are we going with the two of them after this? And the other thing is, do you think it hurts Ivar doing the bounce back between Raw and NXT?
I don't think it hurts him because at the end of the day, Ivar is just waiting for Rowe to come back. Eric to come back. He is still Viking Raider through and through. We've seen this happen before in Ring of Honor when Rowe was hurt. Ivar went on a very similar run just like this. And the moment he came back, they became War Machine again, and it was off to the races. He's I feel like he's in NXT to help grow these big men because I don't know if you noticed, we're getting a lot more big men in opposed to the small guys, and the big men are showing up in a huge way. And Josh Briggs is no different, even though he's a little bit more polished. I believe that Ivar is getting him ready to come onto the main roster. Josh Briggs is a little bit more of that. He's in that world, that frame of he's out of the world of like he's not ready to be. He's not going to be in the main event. He's not really doing anything in NXT, but he definitely could be something huge on the main roster. And I believe that with the draft coming up, he might be one of those sneaky picks that gets thrown on Raw or SmackDown, and it kind of unmuddies some of that water that we were talking about a little bit ago that are currently in with the World and North American Championships. Josh, I believe that Ivar is gonna be down there, and again, also with the CW move, you're gonna get more main roster guys coming down, help mentor some of the younger guys, kind of get them ready for main event stuff, and also the kind of mentor these big guys because, like I said, with Obafemi, Josh Briggs, well, Dijak doesn't need to be taught like that, but Von Wagner, these guys who need that big guy mentor, Ivar's there.
He's perfect for it too.
Mhm.
Fits the role perfectly. Big dudes slapping meat. I've always been a big fan of, not to be weird, but that is one of those things that they talked about, Shane Taylor and Samoa Joe. Guys, it was a thing. Nobody freak out about it. It was a wrestling thing. I didn't make that up.
So I'm
I
now.
didn't make that up.
I,
Nobody trip out. In fact, pretend that never happened. Shad, I'm gonna toss this one over to you.
Well, apparently
Yes,
we got Aaron Rodgers in the chat.
no,
But
we've got Aaron.
anyways,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, David. He's the only one watching other than the 80 on. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Um, Shad, Shad,
yes,
we
sir.
had a match. We're
We had a
talking about
match.
that match. It was
Yeah, we
Ivar
are.
and Josh Briggs.
We definitely had a match. Good match, man. I'm not. Ivar never ceases to amaze me, bro. The fact that he is a 300-pound man that can just do roundhouse kicks, can do like just flips and all of that, and moves so agile and athletic. It makes zero sense at all. But I am a big fan of his. Um, I will say this though. I don't know if I like street clothes Ivar. Street clothes Ivar is a little weird. I need him to be in face paint and in Viking gear at all times because him wearing whatever he was wearing with that vest, you know, it was a little odd to me. But to your point, it is for him. I don't know. Like I said earlier on the show today, I don't have an issue with it because it's better to have him showcase and do what he does best rather than him just sitting and catering. He gave Sheamus a great match. He gave Josh Briggs a great match, and he's gonna give Obafemi a great match as a contender. Will he beat Obafemi? Probably not, but it's all right. I think we're gonna see a lot of this. And what interests me is because what they said on Raw is that they've alluded that NXT can draft people in the upcoming draft. There's a big pool of main roster talent that could benefit going down to NXT. I'm sorry, going up to NXT and working with this young talent and kind of just rejuvenating their careers in a sense, right? Like adding new storylines, being part of new, you know, just factions or teams and matches. I feel like it'd do a benefit, and I don't think Ivar is one that needs to stay down in NXT. I think he's a guy that should probably be in the Intercontinental picture at some point, and be in the tag team picture as soon as his partner comes back. But it worked out for him. Josh Briggs, to y'all's point, he is a guy like Drizzy said. I could see as a potential person to move up to the main roster off of the sure fact that he is very good at all facets. But I also can see him staying down there because they're gonna need some guys on the NXT main event scene going for the NXT championship. And I still believe that he's a person that can fill that spot as a potential NXT champ. I think him and Obafemi could potentially be wrestling soulmates match wise down the road too. Maybe that could be the last match for Briggs losing to Obafemi. I'm not sure, but the you know, there's a lot that he can do. And if he does go to the main roster, I'd be afraid that he'd kind of be in the same situation as like an Odyssey Jones.
Yeah, that is a good point. Plenty of big man on the roster at this time, too, if you really think about
Yeah.
it. It's one of those things, there's only so many roster spots. It's interesting, it's tough. It's been such a fun week, though. And
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, we've got spring break coming up. We've got all kinds of good things coming up.
It doesn't exist for when you're old.
Things to look up, things to look forward to. That's, yeah, not literal spring break. We'll still be what we had
Oh,
over on
Spring
Instagram.
Break Kin.
Spring break Kin. Yeah, we had do y'all have lives from Kong Don Howard? And the answer is absolutely not. We'll be immediately live again following this show right after. We never stop doing this.
Never.
And yeah, literally
Always.
this is all we do, basically like
24/7.
a hamster
All the
wheel.
time. All the time.
And yeah, and then he
Question
said,
is, do you have a life just watching us and commenting that?
he
Why don't you
said,
get a life?
you guys are so bad for the wrestling community. And I was like, I can't believe he is the one. This whole time I've been sending all these letters to Santa about the wrestling community, and he's been the leader the whole time that decides that. It just bugs me to death that I've been sending all these letters to the wrong place. I'm sorry. That's my rant for the day. I think we're great for the wrestling community. Don't you guys?
You know what's a good idea? If you really hate us that much, buddy, there's something called an unfollow button.
Check it out.
But don't unfollow us because we need the followers.
No, seriously though, like, subscribe, tune in tomorrow. More comments would be huge.
That
Maybe
dad
like,
will be there. That dad will be there, I
yeah,
promise.
hashtag us if
Yeah.
you could.
He's
yeah,
lucky
honestly,
I'm not a he's lucky I'm not an admin. I would have shadow banned him a while ago, but it's all good.
honestly, I am an admin and I don't know how to do that. So that's neither here nor there.
I'm easy, man.
I'm kidding. Seriously though, that does bring us to the end of the show. Shad, welcome back. It's good to have you back. And Driz,
Good to be
dude,
back.
we've held it down this whole time. The boys are back in town.
Boys are back in
They make all
town,
these songs
boys are
about
back in
breakups and other stuff.
town.
Not enough about the boys being back in town, but we are. Check us out again next week. Same time, same place. Check out the daily. We're actually done. We ran completely out of time.